Hi, family. Today's topic is about emergency funds, and this is going to be a doozy. And so please stay tuned and stick around to hear it. It's going to be a short video, but it's going to be so powerful and so important. Again, I want to thank you for visiting my channel. And if you like what you hear and you feel as though it creates value for you, please like and subscribe. I will have a video come out every Monday and Thursday at 9 a.m. And so I always start with my mission. And my mission is to help as many people as possible identify their relationship with money and break free from the rat race. And it is a rat race. And what I mean by rat race is, you ever seen a rat or a mouse or a hamster just going around that circle in the cage, just constantly just running and running and running, but don't get anywhere? I know some of you that are listening to me right now feel that way. And there's a reason that is, okay? And throughout these videos, I hope to be able to share with you some tactics that will help you first stabilize your family. Let me say that again. First thing we have to do is stabilize your family. And you know that. First thing that has to happen is the stabilization of your household. And then we're going to go into some investment strategies and some side hustles that will be able to create some positive cash flow in your life, because that's the other part. Not only break you free from the rat race, but help you create assets for positive cash flow. And so, again, please like and subscribe to my channel if you feel as though I can create you value. Next, pull out your journals. I say it every single time. Let's get those journals out, because I want you to write down your thoughts on what I'm saying. I do not expect for you to write down what I'm saying verbatim. You don't have that kind of time. But I want you to write down your thoughts, your feelings on what I'm saying. And if you don't have a journal, you're new to the channel, please click the link below and get you a very inexpensive journal that I'm offering. But you got to have something other than a piece of paper, because you will lose a piece of paper. Again, the journal is for you to go back and review the information that you decided to put into it. And it will help you tremendously, tremendously. So let's get into it. The message is emergency fund. What is an emergency fund? What does that mean when I say you should have an emergency fund? All right. So emergency fund is for when things happen, because they will. Let me say it again. Things will happen. And if you don't believe me, look at your last 2 years and think about things that just came out of the blue. I have been on this earth for 60 years, and there has not been a year in those 60 that something has came up that we classified as an emergency. Let me be clear. Everything is not an emergency. Okay? Emergency fund. Engine blows up. Emergency fund. Kid falls down on concrete and knocks out his 2 front teeth. That's going to cost you, after insurance, After insurance, $800. Emergency fund, that same kid or the other one broke his glasses. Emergency. Because he can't go to school the next day if he can't see. Emergency fund, the refrigerator just stops. And it's going to cost you $600 to $1,000 to put a new refrigerator in there. The air conditioning just goes out. It was running cold yesterday, but today it's done. Emergency. What's not an emergency? Those new shoes or sneakers. Yeah, not an emergency. You have to be disciplined and identify what is you're going to consider as an emergency, because it will happen. I promise you it's going to happen. Okay? And so again, everything cannot be an emergency fund. And so when we talk about emergency funds, the minimum that you should have in an emergency fund is 1 month of your budgeted expenses. Now, this is going to take you a little time, but it's 1 month of your budgeted expenses. Now, I can tell you what I did when I didn't have it, and I learned about this emergency fund. I got a side hustle, and I was making $300 in that side hustle for 2 days of work. And I put the entire 300 into the emergency fund until I got it. And I found that I kind of liked the side hustle that I was doing. And so I continued it to build up that emergency fund and my savings for 6 months. Because my goal was only to do it for 6 weeks, and I wind up doing it for 6 months. But that's another story in itself. But the minimum is 1 month of your budgeted amount. And so if your household expenses each month is $3,500, you need to have $3,500 in an emergency fund. If your household expenses is $10,000 a month, you need to have $10,000 of emergency fund. That's when you start. Now, there will be a point where you get your $3,000 or $10,000 in emergency fund. And now you're dropping that cash that you were dropping in emergency fund into some savings and investments. Not savings, holdings and investments. My bad. Holdings and investments. Once you get to that point, you need to continue to grow the emergency fund. And so after you have funded your emergency fund, now you put a blanket around your family for cash emergencies. And now you're starting to put money aside for holding and investing. A portion of that should continue to go into the emergency fund until you get 6 months of emergency money. So what happens if you lose your job? Like me, just out of the blue, company decide to downsize, get rid of me and others, get rid of me. If I didn't have money put to the side, I would be extremely stressed out, or I would make bad decisions, life-altering bad decisions. And so again, we want to get you to that 6-month period where you have 6 months of savings. And then we'll talk about other things from that point. And so again, the whole goal is to stabilize your family. So when things happen, there's not a lot of arguing, it's not a lot of screaming, it's not a whole lot of, stuff that goes on when you don't have money. And so the emergency fund is very important. With that said, if you're a new subscriber or new to the channel, please fill out the financial challenge that I have down here. It takes less than 2 minutes, and it's for you. It's for you to find out where you are financially. And it helps me. Let me be clear. It helps me. It helps me by giving me an overall picture of where the family is. And so please fill out financial challenge. As I said before, every Monday and Thursday at 9 a.m., I will be putting out a video, again, to help as many people as I possibly can. And as I always close out, to know better is to do better. So find someone that will help you do better and mentor you through life. Stay safe and stay blessed, family.